no water, and the water's
We got babies up here. It's unsanitized up here. And it's filled with children burning up and everything. Get us out of this thing.
Imagine going through 5 days of the most life-altering experience of your life. This is my Hurricane Katrina story. You see, prior to Hurricane Katrina, I was a senior at Warren Eastern High School. I actually tried out for the football team later on in junior year. I actually made the team. Mind you, I was a 5th string, 6th string running back. That's a whole nother story for another day. Warren Eastern was preparing for a jamboree game against St. Augustine that Saturday, but the game got canceled due to the wake of Hurricane Katrina. And it bummed us out, you remember, because it was happening on the senior year. And on top of that, the last 2 hurricanes, George and Ivy, did minimal to less significant damage. But my 5 days enduring Hurricane Katrina, I remember it like it was yesterday. See, the night before Hurricane Katrina, my brother was preparing for a trip to go to Houston, Texas to see Joel Osteen when he was likable. But he canceled his trip to stay with the family in New Orleans, while his wife and son went to Mississippi to stay with her family. As a result, my brother, me, my sister, and my mother camped out in the 3rd floor apartment at Lakewood East apartment, where my father is in the attic in our childhood home. So Hurricane Katrina, which was my brother's birthday, I slept through most of that event. But I do recall Hurricane Katrina lasted 4 hours. Specifically around 9:31, 9:32 is when I heard an explosion on the radio and the levees broke and water invaded land. Now imagine water rising as high as 20 feet high, trapping 1st floor apartments, almost reaching as high as the 2nd unit. Day 2 of Hurricane Katrina, me and my family are stuck in a 3rd floor apartment looking for some type of transportation to get on dry land. We come across 3 civilians on boat that are picking up individuals one by one, and it took them like 8 hours till they got to us, and we finally made it to dry land. And the only place of shelter that could accommodate people that are escaping the effects of Hurricane Katrina was a senior citizen home on Chef Mentor that barely had electricity for the patients that were inside. So me and my family spent the night in the hallways of the senior citizen home while my family was being prayed up, smoking cigarettes. Day 3 of Hurricane Katrina was the most mind-boggling shit of them all. Now imagine you starting your morning off leaving from the senior citizen home and you see niggas breaking into the Popeyes and having a barbecue. Don't know where the grill came from, but NOPD wasn't worth a damn because they weren't helping nobody out. So much so, me and my brother helped this guy who was pushing his sister on a luggage car. Mind you, she was 6 months pregnant and needed a C-section because of the stress Hurricane Katrina caused. So me, my brother, and this one guy was pushing his sister on his luggage car from Chef Mentor, the senior citizen home, to Chef and Crowder. That was like a good 20, 30-minute walk, you hear me? Now, we wind up hitchhiking a ride with some people. Come to find out it was his sister's fiance. He picks up my family and his family. They drop us off on Chef and Diamond. This is where shit get real. Now, imagine half the block of Chef and Diamond, from the Shell gas station all the way from the dealerships, burnt down, looted. Clothes were being taken, food were being taken, cars were being jacked. It was like a real-life war zone I was watching in front of my eyes, you hear me? Once me and my family changed clothes and got the nourishments that we needed, we ended up walking from Chef Endowment, going up the bridge, all the way to the Ernest Morial Convention Center. That is 6 hours on foot, We walking up this bridge, tired, frustrated. We drove like a mug, We angry. And on top of that, it's hot, And New Orleans in the summer is consistently hot. And once we make it to the Ernest Morial Convention Center, when I tell you, bro, that bitch was packed. It was Essence Fest packed with a bunch of family members trying to find ways to get some form of shelter. So we ended up staying the night there. Day 4 of Hurricane Katrina is when I reached my burning point, Now imagine you being woken up out your sleep to some random nigga starting shit inside the convention center with 2 niggas behind him talking about some, turn these motherfucking lights on, I pay the bills in this bitch. Tell me why this same guy takes the belt, slants on the ground, and hits a 6-year-old girl. Now the father said 6-year-old observes what just happened, and then he takes the Gatorade bottle he just had in his hand and pitches it at the guy. Now, mind you, he grabs a chair and about to smash this dude dead in the face. If it wasn't for my mother pleading with him to show some restraint, it'd have been a whole nother nigga moment and we would have to relocate elsewhere. At this point, New Orleans was looking like a legit third world country, Niggas was shooting at police officers, niggas was shooting at the helicopters that was reporting the news, niggas was actually shooting at the National Guards who showed up 3 days later. New Orleans niggas was actually shooting at the buses that were supposed to be picking up people from the convention center, but they felt safe, so they relocated to the Superdome. Here's a disclaimer. There was a guy that actually got thrown off the Superdome because he tried to molest an 8-year-old girl, so karma's real. And then I mentioned I almost got shot twice trying to steal cars just to get out of the city. If it wasn't for my brother looking for me and getting in my behind, no diddy, I would have got killed. But throughout the damnation and anarchy that exists through Hurricane Katrina, the one bright side I recall vividly was meeting some new kinfolks. Shout out to Miss Ramona, her son Red, and their family Ryan Ketching, you hear me? So when my family and the kinfolks got together, we started observing the surroundings that was inside the convention center. We took in our best interest to relocate from the convention center to a federal building that was like 2-3 blocks away. We camped out there the rest of the night. Day number 5, the last experience of Hurricane Katrina.
So I start my Friday morning off, checking up on the kinfolk, check up on the family. Big bro, mom prayed up, smoking cigarettes. Went to go talk to the kinfolk Ryan. And I looked him in his face, and I told him, no matter what happens, today is the day we leave in New Orleans. So myself and the entire crew, we get ourselves mentally situated and focus on the next objective. So we ended up going from a federal building we camped out in, did a 20-minute walk through 3 feet of water, a couple trees, electric poles, a dead body floating, and we ended up at the Louisiana Superdome. And when we get to the Superdome, it had to have been like 10 different lines of evacuees trying to escape New Orleans, on top of the fact that it was 95 degrees outside. It got so crazy in New Orleans, even the National Guards were overwhelmed. It got to the point where military veterans were being deployed to New Orleans, and they were actually providing us with military meal preps and water. To this day, no Army food slander will be tolerated around me, So for a good 6.5 hours, being patient, getting some nourishment in our systems, a couple waters, seeing a few nigga moments, and about 10 different lines trying to escape New Orleans, we finally got our chance for me and our family to get on a charter bus from New Orleans to Emory, Texas, where we were stationed at an all-girls middle school for the weekend. And where we got the chance to notify families that we escaped New Orleans, my uncle, who's a retired military veteran, had some connections, so one of his rounds picked us up from the middle school in Emory, Texas, and relocated us to Houston, Texas, where my uncle had a hotel that he paid for us. And then my uncle contacted his sister, my auntie, and she booked us a flight from Houston, Texas to Jacksonville, Florida. So on Labor Day, we relocated from Houston, Texas to Jacksonville, Florida, and I've been living in Florida ever since. In fact, we were actually a top story in Action Jack's news that year. Full disclaimer, my pops was found alive, rescue mission saved him, and they helped him relocate from New Orleans to Jacksonville, Florida. And with all that being said, here was my life lesson in surviving Hurricane Katrina. Number 1, I am forever grateful for God's mercy and grace because he spared me, my family, and others through a natural disaster that should not have been as big as it was to begin with. Number 2, no matter how gentrified New Orleans looks today, New Orleans never recovered from Hurricane Katrina. But salute to the locals that have relocated back to New Orleans and tried to make the best of an unfortunate situation. Number 3, my brother's greatest birthday gift was surviving Hurricane Katrina. So big bro, if you seen this, we're going to turn over, we cross paths, you hear me? And number 4, special shout out to the military veterans, National Guards, and locals from New Orleans who put their lives on the line to rescue myself, as well as locals who remain traumatized from Hurricane Katrina to this day. Closing, I say this respectfully. Fuck George Bush, fuck Ray Nagin, fuck the government, fuck Katrina.
I said fuck Katrina, fuck Katrina. I said fuck Katrina, fuck Katrina. I said fuck Katrina, fuck Katrina. I said fuck Katrina. That hoe is a creep.